What up, folks? Patch 11.24 is coming soon. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a 4-week patch, more or less. There's going to be a B patch, but then we're going to be with that for 3 weeks. There's going to be a lot of changes to systems, to units, to the meta, and there's a lot of cool things in it, but it's also a little scary because we are going to be stuck with this for the holiday season. So hopefully, fingers crossed, where it's pretty decent. Just to begin, there's going to be a lot of system changes to the augments. A lot of these trade augments are going to also be giving you a unit. So it's going to feel a little better taking it because, you know, you're going to have one of these units to go along with it. I will link these patch notes in the video below, or in the comments below. So I'll just skip through this a little bit. These are just going over what some of these are giving you. It's a lot of the hearts and a lot of the tier 2 augments as well. Whereas the tier 3 ones, the prismatics, they're going to give you 2 emblems instead. Instead of just giving you +2 of the unit, like +2 Arcanist is going to give you like +2 Arcanist spats. So this way you can run the trait and have it for more units as well. You know, it's not just buffing 6 units, it's going to be buffing 8. So some of these are also going to give you gold, and it's just going to bring up some of the ones that weren't so strong. It's going to bring them up a little higher. Like getting 2 assassin spats is, you know, it's a lot better than getting just +2 assassin, because now all those units are also assassins. So let's skip through this a little bit. There's going to be a lot of trait changes as well. Challengers have been super dominant. They're going to get nerfed quite a bit. I still think challengers are going to be really good. It's still a lot of attack speed. 6 and 8 is still going to be cracked. Chemtech is getting reworked to where the buff always lasts 8 seconds. Overall, this should be decent. The attack speed at 3 is lower, but if it's early game, the buff lasts longer. It should still be strong. So those Chemtech openers like Twitch, they're still going to be nice. 5 is about the same, and after that it's actually better. So like if you end up getting like prismatic Chemtech, you should try to run it. It's going to be really nice. You're going to get a lot of attack speed. You're going to get more health regen. So overall, good change. Clockwork is getting buffed, so like prismatic Clockwork is probably the best thing here. Innovator has been super dominant. It's not going to be as strong. They're lowering the buff from the bear, and they're lowering the buff from the dragon quite a bit. The biggest change to Innovator, it's going to be later in the patch notes. You're not going to see Heart and Soul Innovator as your first augment anymore. So, you know, you're not going to see that and be like, oh, free top 4. You know, it's something that's going to come later in the game. So I think that on its own is going to take Innovator way down. Mutants, the Blade Master is getting buffed. So all you Cho'Gath Blade Master AD carry lovers, you're in luck. Enjoy. Going a little further. So these are just some units that are getting nerfed and buffed. So a lot of nerfs in this patch. Garen nerfed, less damage overall. He's not going to be one-shotting everything. Katarina is getting a big nerf. This combined with the upcoming Echo nerfs means that Cat comp is going to go down quite a bit. Trundle is getting nerfed. I still think Trundle is going to be really good. I think if you get a Trundle opener, it's still going to be nice. Shaco, I think Shaco might be pretty decent, especially a 3-star. It's already okay. He's getting a lot of buffs, and at 3-star he should be decent, so we'll see how that plays out. This is a big one. Vex is getting nerfed a lot. Arcanists are getting nerfed a lot, and I don't know how good this comp is going to be. If you're an Arcanist one trick, you better learn some else real quick. I think this comp's going to take some big hits, and it might struggle, because we might see people going towards like Braum frontline with Lux instead of like Vex, so where you run Leona and Braum or like Jace or something, and you don't really go vertical Arcanists. So I mean, we'll see how that plays out. It's a little too early to tell in it. All right, so moving forward to 4 costs. Fiora is getting a decent buff. The spell damage, you know, she does 4 auto, so it's really 40% extra AD. So 80 carry Fiora should be real nice. Like she's not a bad unit, but she's just kind of awkward. I think this is going to make her real nice when you combine now with all the units that are getting nerfed. So she's going to move up a lot. I think challengers are going to be... We might see challenger Fiora carry. Well, probably not. Probably not. Jhin, I think Jhin is going to be still really good. He's getting a mana buff and he's getting nerfed on the damage. I think he's still going to be really nice. He's still going to be good at killing the backline. And this combined with the Clockwork, the Broken Stopwatch moving down to tier 2 is going to be really nice for the unit. Lux is getting nerfed. On the kill, she's going to get less mana. So instead of going to 30, she's going to go to 20. So if you have a blue buff, instead of going to 50, where you need 1 auto to cast, she's going to be at 40, where you need 2. So it's just going to slow down her ramp just a little bit. Orianna's mana is being brought down a whole lot from 180 to 140. That's a huge buff. It's going to mean you get a lot more cast off, and we might see AP carry Orianna much stronger in the meta. Combine this with the Broken Stopwatch, a Jhin Orianna dual carry comp sounds really nice. Sion, they're making him tankier. So tank Sion is going to be pretty nice. 5 costs. Akali is getting a buff at 1 star. This is going to be pretty decent. I already think Akali is going to be really nice here. When you combine that with the Shaco buffs, when you combine it with the Syndicate buffs we're going to see later, I think Akali is going to be really good. Plus everything else is getting nerfed, so she's going to move up a lot. I think Syndicates might be really, really strong next patch. I think Chemtech is still going to be decent. Vex is going to go down, and Challengers probably are still going to be fine. So Clapio is getting, they're doing a little rebalancing on him. They're making him tankier and a little more damage on the ulti, but the AD is going down a lot. So if you're a Clapio player, I'm sorry to tell you, Clapio may no longer be a thing. Jace, melee Jace is being nerfed. They're making him not as tanky, making the shield a little lower. The range AD is going up. So if you want to play backline Jace, he's going to be a little better here on out. Jinx is getting a small nerf, still fine. Victor is getting a nerf as well on the damage and the mana, more or less about the same. Moving on, there's going to be some item changes. Blue buff is now going to give you 50 starting mana instead of the base 30, so it gives you 20 extra starting mana on top of what it gives you already. It gives you 2 tiers, 15, 15. Frozen Heart is being buffed from 25 to 35 attack speed slow. I think this is actually a really big buff. Frozen Heart is already an okay item at 35%. I think this item moves up quite a bit. It's going to be really good on an assassin comp where it's already decent. No cap, I think Frozen Heart's going to be a decent early game slam if you're playing against like a lot of decent frontliner units, a lot of bruisers, against Trundles, against protectors. I think Frozen Heart's going to be a really good item next patch. There's going to be some augment changes as well. Duet is going to give units 500 extra HP to the spotlighted champions. This is a really cool buff. The trait wasn't doing so hot, so let's see if this helps it. Innovator Heart and Innovator Soul no longer. Well, Innovator Heart can no longer show up at 1 to 4. Innovator Soul can only show up as a 3rd choice, so that's gonna be a little weird. It's gonna make pivoting kind of awkward because your comp's already set up. We'll see how this plays out. It's going to be a very rare augment, but at the same time, like getting 2 extra innovators, it's kind of a big deal. Item grab bag 1 and 2, they no longer give you reforgers. I think this feels bad. The reforgers felt really nice to get, but it's probably a necessity. Like these augments are like too strong. But now if you take it, you're just kind of stuck with whatever you get. So hopefully you're ready to play flex. Moving on, there's going to be a rework to Spellblade. Instead of all of your Arcanists doing like 50% of their AP as, on their autos, it's going to do 200 every time they cast their ability. So kind of like Lichbane from League of Legends. Apparently it's going to be about the same amount of damage, but it's going to be more bursty so you can kill things. And this way, if you carry like a low mana unit like a Lux or a TF, it's going to be doing a lot of work. Windfall is getting nerfed at tier 1 and buffed at tier 3, or not tier 3, but like as a first one and buffed as a 3rd one. I think 15 gold for Prismatic is not enough. I'm probably not going to be taking this. Honestly, I don't think Windfall is going to be very good. I'm pretty sure you never take this. March of Progress is getting changed to tier 3, but they're giving you more experience. So it's going to be 5 per turn. That is a lot. That's basically 5 gold per turn. That is actually so much. So now you're going to get that 20 experience in 4 turns instead of 5. So it's going to save you a little bit. Your tempo is going to be a little faster. And I think this is going to be really nice. Little trait changes. Academy is being buffed at 4, and it's being buffed at 6 for how it's being buffed at 4, 6, and 8. At 4 you get more base. At 6 and 8 you're gonna get more per cast. Okay, we've seen Vertical Academy not do very well. Let's see if this fixes it. I mean, that's a decent amount of AP and AD. Arcanist, I think 8 Arcanist is gonna be really nice. It's being buffed from 125 to 145, so that's a lot of AP. The jumps seem a little better now. They're nerfing 4, which was really the biggest one. And it's a little rough because that's where you spend most of your Arcanist game at 4, and then you go to 6. And 4 being nerfed, I don't know. It's just going to feel really bad for the comp. Your mid game's going to be rough. Your late game's really rough. I think Arcanists are going to go down a lot. They already fell out of favor with the... I mean, it's not even nerf, but they bug fixed the Socialite Hex. So, honestly, I think Arcanist is a no-go. Some champion adjustments. Camille's getting nerfed. Her mana's down a little bit. This way, she's not going to just like turbo cast 20 times in the fight. I think this is going to make actually a really big difference. There's so many fights early game where you get Camille to like 10 health, and she gets that last ulti off and just kills your team. No more. No more of that. Darius is getting a little nerf. Still going to be good. Kassadin is getting adjusted to where it's 50-50-50 mana at every rank. This brings down Kassadin 3 just a little bit. I think he's still a cracked unit. And with the nerfs to Garen, Kassadin is going to be your premier tank. I mean, he already is, but even more so. Blitzcrank's getting nerfed. Cat Comp is getting a lot of hits in this patch, so I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it already kind of fell out of meta, so we should see that even less going forward. Kog'Maw is being adjusted a little bit. It's going to help his early game a bit. Honestly, he's about the same. Zyra is getting buffed. Dude, Zyra is a good unit as it is. So now the delay is going to go down a little bit on her stun. So I guess not as many units are going to walk out of her stun, which is kind of nice. 3 cost champions. Cho's getting 100 HP at 1 star, which, you know, gives them more HP at 2 and 3. So if you get an early Cho and you can feed them, good to go. Echo getting nerfed. Pretty big. 25% attack speed 3 stars, pretty big. So that combined with the cat nerfs, with the blitz nerfs, yeah. Heimerdinger's getting nerfed just a little bit. I still think he's going to be really nice if you get an early Heimerdinger from whichever augment it was. It's going to be really good for your comp if you can 3-star that unit. A few more 3 costs. Lysandre's getting her damage nerfed across the board just a bit. They're bug fixing her to make sure the ulti doesn't fizzle anymore. Overall, I think she's going to be a really good unit. There's a couple of nerfs that aren't in here. Her dazzle effect of the AD reduction isn't going to be as strong, and it's not going to last as long. So overall, I think she's getting nerfed, but she should still be decent. She's still going to be a good Morello applicator. Samir's getting nerfed. Tarek's getting nerfed. Nothing major. Urgot is getting mana buffed. Yone is getting nerfed a little bit. Nothing major. Items, they're just buffing the Ornn items a little bit. They're nerfing Gold Collector. Nothing too crazy. Augments, okay, it says small, but Broken Stopwatch moving down to tier 2 is not small. This is pretty big. This augment's actually really good. I think Clockwork comps, if you can get this, are going to be absolutely cracked. Cram Sessions buffed, sure. Featherweight's nerfed, sure. Nothing too crazy. Gold Reserves is going to be a lot better. It's going to be 2% damage per gold instead of 1%, so you only need 30 to reach that 60 cap. The cap remains the same. You only need 30 gold instead of 60, which is going to be really good. Knife Edge getting nerfed a little bit. Stand United being buffed. I think Stand United 1 is going to be really strong. Honestly, I think these are all going to be pretty good. Stand United 1, it's a really big buff. It's a 50% buff. I think this is going to be the main one. It's basically what this is. I mean, it's not even basically. It's what this was. The following augments will now appear slightly more often. Ascension, Cybernetic, Knife Edge, Makeshift Underdogs. Okay. And then there's a whole bunch of bug fixes. The targeting bug, it is fixed. Don't you worry. The Phantom Swap, where you move your units from this side of the bench to this side of the bench with some hotkeys, that's gone. Calculated loss no longer gives you free reroll. Great. On 2-1. Mana reduction on Mutant Spat wasn't working right. That's fixed. Mercenary bug fixed. Socialite Hex gone. 2 Talons will work correctly now. Yada, yada, yada. This is too much to read, but there's a lot of bugs that they fixed. Good stuff, devs. And I mean, that wraps it up. in terms of where the meta is going to fall, I feel like Arcanists are out. I think Yone is still going to be good, but you probably need to high roll it just a little bit more. It's still going to be fine. Vertical Challenger is still fine. I think Jin is going to be really strong. Samira is still going to be fine. 5 Imperials, it wasn't in here. Maybe they took it out, but 5 Imperials is getting a buff to all the units. Like all the Imperials are going to do more damage. So I think Imperial reroll is going to be really strong. I think Protector reroll is still going to be fine. What other comps do we have? I think Scholars are going to be fine. Innovators are going to be a little... I'm pretty sure you just never play AP because you can't really go down the AP tree anymore. Because you just end up playing Sorks. I mean, yeah, you can maybe play Heimer instead, but it's risky and you might not end up there. So I think you just never play AP. It's just AD comps. Urgot's fine. Jin is fine. And Yone is going to be fine. 5 costs are probably going to be better without the nerfs to 4. So we might see a 5 cost meta instead. A lot of the 2 costs got wrecked, which means people are going to be re-rolling those comps even less because you're less likely to hit. So I fully expect to see a 5 cost meta. 4 costs are still going to be fine. Jinx is good. Victor is good even despite the nerfs. And I mean, it sounds like a good patch. Like 4 and 5 cost meta doesn't sound bad. And if you high roll your reroll comps, it should be good. Syndicate should be, fingers crossed. I didn't see it in here. Maybe I skipped it, but Syndicate's getting a small buff. So, you know, fingers crossed, it's going to be a good patch. A couple reroll comps you can play. Trundle's probably fine if you high roll it. 4 and 5 cost base comps should be good. We have 1 week to, you know, break the meta as much as we can while they can still fix it, and then we're locked in for 3 weeks. So fingers crossed that it's good. I hope you guys have a great break, good vacation, break the game before we get there, and see you guys next time.
Can you say Ooga Booga GV8 gang?